Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Evelyn Wadkins, and for those of you who don't turn around during church, I usually sit back there with my wife Melanie and our children Cece and Miguel. I was raised in the Episcopal Church and sang in the youth choir and eventually the adult choir as a teenager. When I was in college in Cleveland, Ohio, I attended the Episcopal Cathedral there. One Sunday during the stewardship drive, the dean of the cathedral asked people to come forward who couldn't make an annual pledge but still wanted to donate what they could towards the drive. I lined up in the aisle with my cash, feeling like I was doing something important with what I had. Melanie and I started attending Christ Church in 2011. We're married here in 2013, and both of our children were baptized here in 2018 and 2020. Melanie and I have served on multiple committees and made great friendships here. Now that I'm no longer a penniless student, I am able to make a pledge with my family, and it is a significant part of our budget. Some of you may remember what Susan Harris, our interim rector, said a few years ago, that no matter the amount you pledge, it should be something that you feel. This is a different approach than the fund drives we sometimes hear on the radio about how your pledge could be equal to a cup of coffee a month. When I think about the importance of this church in my life, it is much bigger than that. Each week, we enter the church building through the courtyard, where our kids played for the past 5 years as students at the Eliza Corwin Frost Preschool. In fact, our favorite ECF teacher once remarked that Cece strutted through the hallway as if she owned the place. And it made sense to us, given that she had been in the building every week since she was 9 days old. Some of you here may have witnessed how each of our children felt very at home in this space in their respective debuts as the Lamb in the Christmas Eve creche service. After entering through the courtyard, we passed by the nursery, where Cece and Miguel spent many happy years once their quiet coos in the nave became loud squawks. Now that they are both over age 3, they are in godly play. They love godly play, and if we are away for a Sunday, they are usually very disappointed about missing out on the lesson. A couple of weeks ago, we were driving home from church, and Cece asked from the back seat, "What happens after kids are finished with godly play?" I replied, "Then as a second grader, you go to communion class. And what's after that?" We said, "Then there's godly dialogue. What next?" "Then there's confirmation class." "What's after that?" "Then there's a special group of big kids that call EYC that meets on Mondays, and they have a pizza dinner and they learn about God." "What else?" "Then you get to do all sorts of things. You can join the adult choir, you can carry the torches, like Evelyn Goddard," she said. Yes, like Evelyn Goddard. That conversation was a great guidebook to our parish from the eyes of a child. To children, our parish says, there is a place for you here, a space to feel embraced and wanted and nurtured. For those of us who are lucky to have such a church in our own childhoods, we know how important it is to enable that for our own little ones among us. Father Kurt has taken great steps to help our young people feel valued. For the first time ever in my time here at Christ Church, there's now a nursery caregiver for kids every Sunday in the summer. Thank you. We now have Jillian Maddox on staff to make sure that the Sunday school classes are running smoothly, and I've noticed that she's always posted outside in the breezeway, clipboard in hand, ready to point people where they need to go. I have a vested interest in shoring up the church so that it is welcoming to families with children. I want the church to be happy, healthy, and thriving for this generation and the next. I hope you will join me in pledging to support our Christ Church Bronxville youth programming and more this month. Thank you.
So there are ways to do that. I hope that you will make your commitment by November 12th. That's when we're going to be doing our in-gathering during our service time. And that is, you can fill out a card. You should have gotten it at home. If you didn't get it at home, there are cards back in the entryway. You can use the QR code, which is in your bulletin announcements. You can send us an email. You can go onto our website and use the online form. There are so many ways that you can make your commitment to Christ Church. But your presence here is a blessing to us all. It makes this church come alive. You are Christ Church. So remember that as you consider the ways that you can make a commitment to Christ Church in 2024 and into the future. Walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself for us, an offering and sacrifice to God.